Welcome back to Life After Sunday. Today we're going to dive into a bold and often overlooked truth. Jesus Christ didn't just change hearts, he changed the world. Whether you believe in him or not, the ripple effect of his life, teaching, and resurrection are everywhere. The law, hospitals, education, women's rights, charity, and even democracy itself. But here's the kicker. Jesus never wrote a book, never held a political office, never traveled more than a few hundred miles from home, yet his impact reshaped civilization completely. And that's what we're going to talk about today.
That's exciting, man.
I'm revolutionary Jesus.
I'm fired up about it because there's some information that's been right in front of our face the whole time, and once I heard it, it kind of blew my mind. And we're going to go over that today.
You actually shared it with us. Listen to, it's not even a sermon. It was more like a talk, almost like a TED talk kind of.
Yeah.
That Mark Driscoll did, and that's kind of where we got this idea. But first, here in our beautiful state, there was a double homicide that was last week, I think.
Yeah.
In the state park, Devil's Den State Park, up in the northwest corner of the state. And the guy's been on the run for about a week, I guess, and now as of yesterday, they've caught him. And Mike, tell us a little bit about this guy.
They caught him. He confessed, and the DNA collected at the scene matched his DNA. Basically, if you haven't heard, it was on national news. State park, a family went hiking. They have 3 kids. Only 2 of them are with them, 2 girls. And this psycho was apparently lurking around the park enough that some people took pictures of him at some point because his behavior was different. So we have a picture of him from behind when they were looking for him. And apparently he turned and started stabbing Dad, from what I understand. And Mom ran the kids back to the car. So the kids were safe. Mom came back apparently to check on husband, and she got killed. And so they had a big manhunt, the feds involved, state police. And the cool part of this, as far as justice coming through, and that's the only cool part of it, is a tragic, terrible thing. But, I mean, it's neat to see law enforcement working together.
Yeah.
But last night, here's a double murder, right? You go to a big city, those are a dime a dozen, right? The governor is leading the press conference, and she's like, if you come to this state and you behave, you engage in acts of physical violence, we are going to get you. We're going to catch you. And that's something awesome to see because
Yes, 100%.
all the resources, because we don't have tons of murders, all the resources of the state were able to be just totally focused on this event. And the crazy part of it is apparently he was educated at Oklahoma State, and he's taught elementary school in Texas, Oklahoma, and his last job he was just hired for, had not started yet, was in Arkansas.
Wow.
That's wicked, man.
And everybody's just, their mind's blown by it, but it's if you look at his picture, his arrest photo.
My wife was a teacher, but do they do any? I don't think they do any kind of psych evaluations.
Let me read
to
you.
hire teachers. Do they?
They do a background. They do a background.
Do
check.
a background.
They
Yes.
They don't put them through a psych like a police officer does.
Where did you find this summary?
That was on his his summary for his current job.
And Broken Arrow.
Yeah.
So let me read
That's
you this
before he
summary,
came to
of
Arkansas.
Him, is this on the public school website, I guess?
Yes.
This is this guy. It says, proven educator from Broken Arrow Public Schools, adept in leveraging educational technology and differentiated instruction to enhance student learning, excelled in fostering comprehensive student engagement through innovative teaching methods, achieving significant improvement in comprehension of the students, certified in CPR and skilled in promoting extracurricular involvement, embodying a blend of technical proficiency and exceptional interpersonal abilities.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not
Like normal dude. It seems like.
Exceptional interpersonal.
Yeah,
which means
every bit of that came off AI. I mean, AI wrote that for
Yeah,
him.
right.
That's possible.
It did. I mean, think of how well worded that is.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
But
it's
I mean, when I worked nuclear plant, we had to take psych evaluations to be able to get into a nuclear facility. And I'm not trying to make it harder to be a teacher, but man, you would think with as much, you know what I mean, much troubles we have, it
I
wouldn't be
think-
a bad idea.
It wouldn't. It would take a long time, but I mean, they could do it. It's just a commitment to doing it. Thank goodness, it's terrible what happened, but at least he didn't do that at a school.
Yeah, for sure.
Be
but
bad.
I think
Even more bad.
the average citizens, they're blown away by this, and evil always has been present on this earth, always will be.
Did he give a reason?
Not
I
yet.
don't know his
They
motive.
have not disclosed the motive yet. But if you look at his booking photo, brother, if you
Yeah.
want to see Satan in a man's eyes,
Oh yeah, you can see it.
That's not
Demonic
the
looking dude.
I'm sure that's not the same eyes that he showed when he was working at the elementary school.
Yeah.
No,
That is a man. I mean, you can see the evil in his eyes. I mean, it's bad, but evil's always been around. It always will be around, and it's always strikes.
Yeah. I mean,
He looks like a nut.
he's
Can you not see the hate in
yeah.
his eyes?
that's almost the Zoolander blue steel right there. I mean,
His hair looks like
kind of does. And what's funny, I think he had it straightened or something because he was arrested while he was at the barbershop. Once he was, given a shower, his booking photo, all that hair turned curly.
really. He was trying to.
Yeah, that makes you wonder.
Yeah.
But evil's always been around. You can't protect against it. You can't legislate against it. When a person who might be quasi-normal decides to turn evil, there just isn't anything you can do about it other than, as an individual, be aware.
That's what I was gonna say.
Just be aware, because he would have shown some behavior, and the first thing that you're going to get is he was dressed in all black, long sleeve top, long sleeve pant or long pants, and it's the hottest part of the summer, and you're
you
on a
live in
trail.
Arkansas and you're hiking. You're not wearing all black everything from head to toe.
No.
Long sleeve, long pants. You're just not doing it.
That's your only defense against it, is just to be prepared, and to have a plan. Like,
Wife should have never. I mean, hindsight's 2020.
it is, but
But-
any plan should always be, whether you're getting robbed in a parking lot, anything. I am going to absorb the impact and or die. Wife, you secure the kids and y'all escape.
Go get help, or yeah.
Don't come
absolutely.
back. Don't
Yeah.
come back to check on me ever. You're coming back into the situation. And you know what? The average citizen doesn't think that way. The average citizen is thinking of, I got to check on my husband.
Yeah.
And that's a noble thing. But if you can try to learn something out of a tragedy, is just, you got to have a plan. Your wife and kids got to get out of Dodge. And if you get smoked, so be it. At least they're out
one
of there.
parent is better than no parents.
Yeah.
In this, I mean, that's
Absolutely.
hindsight's 2020 again. But what we're saying out of all this is just be aware and be prepared. And I mean, you don't think when you're going to go hiking that something like that's going to happen. But I always carry protection when we hike, and I will continue to. But if you have a plan, whether it be you're hiking, you're at Walmart, at the grocery store, shopping, whatever, that plan should carry everywhere you go as a family.
Predators always 99% of the time give off clues.
Hey.
And when you're on a trail, think about when you're on a trail, most of the time you're going, hey, you meet somebody, hey, how's it going? Good morning. You can just tell something
Oh,
ain't
yeah,
right.
100%.
Usually if you're running into somebody with that kind of evil running through their veins, like your little hair should stand up on the back of your neck, when he walks by, kind
Hey,
of
year before last, in all the girls' stockings for Christmas, I gave them all neck knives.
Oh yeah.
It's a knife that's on a little chain
yeah.
that they can just pull, and it's just a little small blade that's made
Yeah.
to do some damage. Double
Somebody off
sided.
of you.
Yeah, I mean, and so like Ava and Layla both, they carry their neck knives. If Layla or Ava's going into Walmart and it's just her and her friend Addison, she puts her neck knife on, carries it with her. I mean,
Yep.
it's just using wisdom. We're not expecting anything to happen, but we're also going to be prepared if it does.
100%.
Yeah, you just can't be You can't be oblivious. You can't be on your
Yeah.
phone. You got to just pay attention. You'll get some clue flags most of the time.
Well, just like, did they meet him on the trail?
Don't
or did he
know.
just jump out of the bushes?
Could have
or-
very well been in the bushes, and all the awareness in the world wouldn't have helped.
Right.
But even in that situation, teach your family. If something like that suddenly happens, y'all run. I'm there.
Right.
I think, like the times that I have like hiked the Washita Trail and stuff, you see passerbys all the time. We met a guy coming through and he was from Colorado. But the dude from Colorado, it's 20 something degrees out in the morning. He's got shorts on and bright shiny socks. And I mean, he looks like a hiker. You know what I mean? Not like a dude dressed in all. What I'm saying is like you're saying, there will be clues. Like people that are out hiking, they're going to have.
In 99% of all cases, you're going to have some pre-attack indicators.
Like you said, it was in the bushes and just jumped out. Might have been nothing. And up there, even at Devil's Den, there's some little caves and crevices that he could have been in that we don't know, but he could have just jumped out from.
So just, hey, bad things happen. They don't matter where you're at. They happen. So always carry.
I'm waiting on this joke, man.
So I was just gonna say, have y'all not heard about the SIG P320? Look,
I've heard about.
Here's
the
a
gun.
Glock. Watch this. It didn't shoot.
What happens to the SIG?
So on the 320, they had issued them to the military, and the way they're designed now, I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube where literally if you tap it, it will fire. Well, it happened to do that. I believe it was security forces
Like
in
just
the
tap
Air
it on
Force.
the side?
It was in a holster like this, and when the guy put it down, that bump fired and killed the military member sitting across from him.
Oh, wow.
So they're having huge
dude.
investigation. They're recalling the guns and stuff like that. And so I just want to, it's not funny, but Glock, you don't ever worry about that with a Glock.
That's why I got a Glock.
Yeah,
I got a Glock because you printed it in my brain.
Yeah, Glock's gonna do you right. A SIG might be more sexy, but that gun right there is safe and it's always gonna work.
It's the job.
What else do you want?
My Glock, you can drop it in the mud, drop
Pick
it
it
in
up and shoot
water, and pick it up and shoot it.
And it's not gonna misfire. The way they've designed that trigger, it's got a catch where if you drop it straight down and that trigger tries to depress, it's got a little catch safety in there that won't let it fire. So horrible incident, but man, you want to talk about a gun maker that's in a lot of trouble. If you tap a gun like that, they were doing experiments.
How could it? Okay,
just a bad design.
How could it fire like that? Is it dropping the pin or is it?
It's something to do with the design. Once it doesn't take anything for that to fire. I don't know.
They trying to make like a lighter.
Don't know yet. I'll have to watch some more YouTube videos on how this is possible, man. And apparently it has something to do with this. If the slide is slightly back. So maybe when you put it in a holster and that slide just comes back just a hair, then that puts it into position where if you just tap it. And they were doing it. They were holding the gun like this, and they tapped it, and it fired. I was like, man.
It's mind-blowing to me.
Ooh. The problem is the military issued them to everybody and their grandma, and now they're having to, pull them back.
They went away from Glock.
They never went to Glock.
What did they use?
They were using SIG. They've used Beretta. They've used
Beretta.
And I just like, why don't you? I don't know if it's because it's a German manufacturer. I don't know who makes SIG. I think it's probably foreign too. But Glock is just never going to do you wrong. I'm biased, but
used it for how many years in
every year? It just never malfunctions. It always
29
works.
years, 30 years,
25 because I had a Beretta, disgusting Beretta when I was in the military. Big heavy metal brick with sharp edges, and you'd be doing reload drills and it would tear your hand into just crummy gun.
Crummy.
Yeah, I didn't care for it.
So I know this is not on our quick hitters, but I saw it. I think it was today or yesterday I saw it. Did you see the recall on Celsius?
Yes.
I did see that. They're talking on the radio today.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Where you think you're buying a Monster or Celsius energy drink.
And it's a high noon alcoholic drink.
What DJ Williams said on the radio today earlier on their show, 103.7 The Buzz, he said that the Celsius package, the mispackaging in a Celsius bottle can, but the case it comes in is high noon. And the difference is the top Celsius will be black. On a high noon, it's silver. So you have a high noon case,
Okay.
Celsius can with a high noon top.
Oh wow. How did they mess
So,
that
like,
up?
They shouldn't misplace them in a convenience store because they're coming in still in the high noon packaging.
But think about it. The hourly worker there pulls it out and he thinks it's going to be the vodka seltzer, and he's like, "Oh no, it's an energy drink. They screwed up.
Drink this.
Put this in the energy drinks, you know."
That's true.
And then guys are, drinking one or two and getting buzzed. I'm sure there'll be a lawsuit.
Yeah, so apparently they all are bottled at the same place. But I can remember working at the pickle plant here in Atkins, and we changing labels out. I mean, you got these expensive pickles coming down the line, and you're putting labels on them, and you're like, okay, we need to switch over, and all we do is change the label out, put another label in, and now you got the great value pickles going through. And it's the exact same pickle. The only pickles that were a different pickle were the Atkins pickles. That those were the fresh made right there. But then any others that they bottled were the same pickles.
Really?
The
Crazy.
exact same pickles, just a different label.
So somebody forgot to change out the can, didn't they?
Yeah, so
That's a big.
I didn't even think about what you said though. Like just a kid working at a grocery or a gas station.
Be like, "Oh man, that's the energy drink. They screwed up the box."
Yep.
So I'm
Lawsuit.
sure somebody's going to say they were in a wreck and they got drunk because they drank 6 energy
If you
drinks
drink
in
6 Celsius, you might die.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
That's
it was
funny.
against their religion, and they made them drink alcohol.
Oh,
and now
yeah.
they're emotionally scarred.
Or medically, you're not allowed to drink
Yeah.
alcohol, and then
Oh, they're gonna get hammered.
it's going to be
bro.
bad.
Yeah.
Hammered. They're
Yeah.
gonna be
Mm-hmm.
shelling out some cash.
Yeah.
Big time. All right.
Let's jump on Jesus.
Jesus.
So
Go ahead.
before you start,
All right.
this is what lit me on fire for this episode. This one thing is whenever I heard Mark Driscoll say, all the things we're going to go over that Jesus has done, he did it in 3 years.
3 years.
A lot of people assume Jesus is doing all this throughout his life. There's only one documented incident or situation where he was in the temple asking questions of the elders and displaying great knowledge. And that's it. That was like when he was like 12. So a man in 3 years changed the entire planet. They're the most produced Bible. The Bible is the most read, the most translated, the most produced book
Ever.
on earth. And like number 2 is a philosopher that's not even close. And you got to, so we'll go into the details of that, but I don't know sometimes, it's kind of like that. I was saying that low hanging information that's right in front of your face.
It's passed over.
You forget this happened in some say 2 years, as many as 3, changed the entire world. And you cannot tell me that that's not divine
And
intervention.
even time is set
Yes.
Yeah.
by his life and death.
Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
you go look at BC
Yeah.
and AD. And like Western civilization as we know it today, to this day, would not be what it is without Jesus and Christianity. Would not be.
No.
100%.
Not even
Fact.
close.
So we're going to go through that if you want to.
Yeah, I'm excited. So point number 1 is Jesus had no wealth.
Which is odd for all the famous people in the world.
Wealth. He had no army. He didn't come in like they thought he was going to come in, like the Messiah was going to be sword and shedding blood and all this stuff.
He's not
But
Napoleon.
I will say, I don't think Jesus was destitute.
No.
Because a lot of people think, they'll say, well, Jesus was poor, so I got to take this vow of poverty.
No, I'm not saying that.
No, yeah.
He wasn't wealthy, and he came from Bethlehem, a poor shanty town that
Yeah.
they
But
looked
what
at
I'm saying
like
is,
everybody
though,
from
he
Bethlehem
wasn't-
or Jerusalem.
But he wasn't like destitute. I mean, like people think we got to take this poverty vow because
Right.
honestly, if you're going to take the poverty vow, then you shouldn't be working at all.
No, I think I believe that the reason that it happened, that he came in like that,
Yeah.
is because so he can relate to
Yes, absolutely,
everyone.
absolutely.
You know, he didn't have a huge title,
Yeah.
no political clout in it, you know, but yet again, like we said, he changed history completely.
Well, and we'll contrast each of these with, again, no army, no Napoleon, no great,
He never wrote a book.
not General Patton.
Nope.
He didn't even write a book.
Yeah.
Never wrote a book. And then 2,000 years later, millions of people call him Lord. And like we just said, time is marked by his before Christ.
Yeah.
And what is it? Anti
AD,
Yeah.
after death, BC,
Yeah.
before Christ.
yeah, but
Yeah.
the what's the right name? Anadomai or something.
After death and before.
That's what
before Christ,
yeah.
And
after death.
AD is after death.
Well, and then think about this. He was technically he had a single mother, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah.
Anno
I mean,
Domini is Latin for year of our Lord.
Okay, there you go.
I mean, he had his stepdad around. I mean, I
Okay.
guess you call him stepdad.
So,
But
again, small town. He didn't come from a metropolis. He didn't come from the rich areas. Another thing,
And it go ahead.
he never traveled more than they think 100 miles max.
Yeah, maybe. Well, isn't that roughly somewhere
Yeah.
around there?
Just he
It was all walking or by donkey or whatever, mostly
Yeah.
walking, you know.
yes, and preaching to crowds.
Yeah. In all through that, in those 3 years, did he probably faced the biggest persecution of anyone in human? He did. I would say he did. The
Yeah.
biggest persecution of anyone in the history of the earth.
Yeah, because he was a threat to the crown. He was a threat, and they didn't like his disruptions.
Yep.
And you know what? He was very. And we're going to go into that on our next segment, which is on children, how Jesus changed the view. We got to set the time, all right? At the time, his views were revolutionary.
Yes.
Which is his view on women was what?
They were equal.
What was the views of that time?
The women were not
Oh,
equal.
no,
They
not
couldn't
even.
vote. They couldn't
they couldn't even speak.
speak. They weren't. No, they were like wrapped in a
So think about this.
clothed up. You know.
The first time in recorded history where Jesus acknowledges the worth of women and their value, and yet today in the liberal colleges that they go to, that all of our kids go to, the feminism movement doesn't even acknowledge
That's disgusting.
that where those rights came from.
Yeah.
Because they're used to the United States. Most of the world still has a dim view of women.
Yes.
Very subservient. They don't all have rights. Western Europe, they have rights. But outside of that, this whole planet, they're not viewed as equals.
Yeah. I love this illustration. It says, coming back to today, like our modern society, imagine someone today with no social media, no money, no political support, changing the entire direction of humanity. That
Walking
was Jesus.
less than 100 miles in
Yes.
2 years. Think about
Right.
that. No TVs, no
Nothing.
newspapers.
No.
Okay,
It was all about talking to people and spreading.
and people believing it in their heart because he had a message people
Yep.
believed in. And he did it with people who were Jews,
Right.
who this was not what they believed. This was a new belief.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me this isn't divine intervention.
I wouldn't say it was it was not what they thought with how they thought he was going to come. They thought the Messiah was going to come with sword and wage war and just.
Well, even before he disclosed he was the Son of Man, before because that really set off the Richter scale in that area, just his teachings before he revealed it were against like everything, be the lowest of low, turn the other cheek. These were all like antithetical to the way the 670 rules that you had, following Jewish law, very radical. And then
that's why the Pharisees and stuff couldn't get behind him, because they were like, what are you doing? Like, this is not what we've been taught our whole life.
Yeah. And then the way, again, how he treated children.
Yeah.
Children at that time were viewed as garbage, especially girls. The boys, they at least knew that they could grow up and produce an income to help the family.
Yeah.
And there's a percentage, I don't know if we have it in here, but they guessed like 1 out of every 8 girls born would actually survive and live.
I think it was in that talk, but Mark Driscoll said that during that time, if a boy, like you said, a boy was born, they could keep him, he would make profit, he could work, all this stuff. If a girl was born, or even if they didn't want the boy, they would put him in the trash. And then like they would go, Romans would come get them, and they would either the girls would be sold as sex slaves, or the boys would be turned into gladiators.
And they would promise their 9-year-old girl to be married to a 50-year-old man.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so when Jesus, remember there's that sermon where that he says, they're like basically like the children run up to him and they're like, get away. And he said, no, bring them to me.
Right. Yeah. So he completely transformed how
that's radical.
That time period viewed children and women, like he taught the children, like, come to me, like you can.
Yeah. What you do to the least of these.
Yes.
My brethren.
And all throughout the Bible, you see it, have faith like a child.
Yeah.
And he said, if you treat, again, I don't know the exact quote, but if you treat a kid bad, you'd be better off with a millstone around your neck.
Yeah.
Jump off
That's
in the
rough,
water.
Dude.
So think about how radical that is when children are just viewed as pain in the butt. They're nobody likes them. Give them away, throw them away, and here's Jesus.
I love this
flipping it.
Because like you that scripture, you read that your whole life, but you don't. It's never put into context what we're talking about. And
Correct.
It really just clicked in my brain when you just said that. I'm like, culture then with these, how they were treating women and children, and then him coming on the scene, just completely flipping the script.
It's absolutely radical, because when you read that growing up,
bro.
You're just like, well, of course, treat
Right,
children
it's
well.
to us now.
No, but the historical context.
Just like him, the way he treated the woman at the well.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, here's this woman. Not only is she a woman, but like she's a hooker
with multiple.
I mean,
he calls them out.
She had 5 husbands, and her current quote husband wasn't her husband because he was married to someone else.
Right.
And the Lord called her out on it.
Yeah. And then all he says is, "Hey, go sin no more. Be whole."
But look, and again, I didn't even think about this till just now, but he was entrusting that woman to go tell the Samaria what she just found.
Yeah.
A woman.
Mm-hmm.
And then his birth as a baby, letting that be a part of the story of Jesus.
Yeah.
Again, babies were viewed as just trash. And yet we have a whole section called Christmas.
Well, Herod tried to kill all the babies.
His plan was to kill all the babies. So
all the male babies
catch the right one.
To catch Jesus. Like, what if Sarah said, all right, we're going to kill all the firstborn males the next year
Yeah.
to try to catch somebody? What?
That's the world.
That was okay back then.
That was normal.
Normal.
Yeah, there it is. If you harm a child, Matthew 18:6. If you harm a child, it'd be better to have a millstone tied around your neck and thrown into the sea. Boom. Boom, right there.
Boom.
Again, super radical.
Yeah. And then again, point 3, we've already touched a little bit, but Jesus elevated women. You know, we talked about it some again, like in that time frame, women were treated like property.
And he had followers in his tribe,
2 of his best friends.
and they weren't property.
Oh.
They were members of his team.
Mary and Martha.
Yeah.
That's radical.
Who were the first people to find Jesus at the tomb?
Yeah.
Women.
Women.
Mary and
You
Martha.
think that's by accident?
No, sir.
Oh, Holy Spirit's working, man.
Yeah. It's crazy. Women couldn't own land. They couldn't get even an education. Couldn't do anything in court. They couldn't testify. I guess they could buy, I don't know, but
And Jesus established
yeah.
that women were equal but different. Different responsibilities, different roles,
Yeah.
but they were equal. Highly, highly radical.
Yeah. It says here like the early church was majority female because Christianity and Jesus offered them dignity, freedom, and gave them a type of a value that was never offered pre-Jesus.
And think today, I've talked about it before, but one of Gracie's doctors had to go back to India to meet his wife that was picked out for him by his family. She didn't have a choice in the matter, nor did he.
Right.
That's in the year 2025. And I believe India is like the second most populated country in the world, a democracy.
Yeah.
And yet they're still picking out wives. The women have no choice, and even the men don't. The family has a choice.
Well, if you go back to just in cultures like India that
I would like to be able to do that for my daughters.
yeah, I would too.
hear you. But these cultures like India that don't have a Christian influence
This is still common.
still treat women like property.
Yes.
Like to this day, they have no rights.
Well, they got to walk behind the man. You know,
They got to
they
wear what's that? Muslims, they're like
yeah, where they
wrapped up. All you
completely
can see is their eyes.
And then even in the Middle East, it's not uncommon for a very powerful person in society to have what they call a boy toy. I can remember seeing one of the princes come into Saudi Arabia with their big entourage on the base, and you see them all getting out with their stuff. And then there's a teenager following them out, boy. And if you really get into it and look, that stuff is fairly common, although nobody wants to talk about it.
Wow, I didn't know that. Genesis 1:27 says that men and women are made equally in the image of God.
right.
And that's from the very beginning.
Right out the
Out
gate.
the gate, baby.
Yeah, right out the gate. God said that we're equal.
Yes. Next, point 4. Jesus and justice. Christianity introduced the concept that all are equal under law because God is just.
Well, before
It's the birth of the rule of law,
it's
basically.
the birth of the rule of law, because before Jesus, might was right. Whoever was the strongest, whoever had the most
Eye
influence,
for an eye.
that's who. People, again, in today's culture, think that it was always. Lawful societies have only been around for 150, 200 years. Before that, buddy, it's tribal. And if my tribe's stronger than yours, we're going to do things the way I decide.
But without Christ being present within your life, I mean, we see people today even that they look you up down and they go, okay, I'm bigger than you, I'm stronger than you, so then I rule over you, and that's not.
I think they're like a god over you or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. I mean, like we seen a young man at the beach that he
Eating your pizza.
well, not that one, but
Oh.
but another one that was one that almost got sent home by the train. You know, his mind, you could see the way his mind worked was looking at you and going, okay, I'm bigger than him, so then I can be mean to him. I'm not bigger than Bob, so I can't be mean to him.
yeah.
Right.
And that's really the whole way everybody was set up until Christ came.
Yeah.
You know, and he was saying even the smallest
Yeah.
is the most important.
But look, like you get even the just like Romans, what they do, they're throwing criminals in with gladiators to fight as punishment, and entertainment. And there was no justice. There was no anything.
Yeah, I mean, go through again. It's part of human psychology. Without Jesus involved in that psychology, humans want to dominate other humans.
Yeah.
And the worst examples, Stalin, Hitler. You can go to the Chinese ruler today. No respect for human life.
Yeah.
Just whatever I say goes. And again, countries not following the Western civilization where, you need 2 witnesses to prove a crime. That's a biblical principle.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, look at all the laws that God gave Moses, 613, and a lot of those laid the foundation for justice that we follow to this day. Like, look at murder is a crime.
The 10 Commandments
It's a 10 Commandment. Stealing
have value today.
Stealing, a crime.
And then, thou shalt not steal. Well, if you go to any major cities, they're considering that a nonviolent crime, and they're not even making the criminals go to jail.
Godless.
And they're not following. And so then they wonder why the poor community has no grocery store, because as soon as they open it, they get cleaned out and there's nobody prosecuted for it.
That's like third world like
Behaviors.
lawless,
Yeah.
not Christian nation type stuff right there. And like these rule of law exist in the United States or anywhere that is Christian influence.
Yeah.
And it's not like, look at like these Middle Eastern countries, like there's no, like these terrorist groups, they are the law. They say what goes, and you have no say. There's no trial. There's no justice. There's no fair anything.
And if the government decides that they don't like what you have to say, you're not getting a fair trial.
Yeah.
You're not. They're gonna give you the same trial that Jesus got.
China.
In the middle of the night, no witnesses. Yep.
Right.
Guess what? You're guilty. And that's it.
We said so.
Because we said so.
That's rough, man.
So again, we take that for granted here. And Jesus again was earth shattering because at that time, there it was might is right, and that's it. He was changing that.
Yeah. Biblical law condemned both the rich and the poor for murder. In pagan nations, justice often favored the powerful. So, like, you were powerful, you had influence, you were above the law, and Jesus changed that.
Yeah. And of course,
that still exists to this day some a little bit.
It does. I mean, is the system perfect?
No.
But I challenge you to go anywhere in the world and find one that is better. It's not perfect. It's but in the world we live in, it's as good as you can get it.
I want to go back to like everything that Jesus did in those 3 years and set forth and the things that we still follow to today. People that bash him and don't believe in him and all this stuff, they have no idea.
And a lot of the
stuff they live on their day-to-day, like...
Tell me one of the 10 Commandments that doesn't make life better.
Right?
Just give me one that doesn't actually improve the quality of the life for the people that live under that law.
I'll wait.
Yeah. I mean, think about it.
You can't.
We got a penal code in Texas that's like this thick. The 10 Commandments takes care of 90%
it probably
of it.
Covers most of that.
90% of it.
Yeah. Crazy. Section or point 5, Jesus and education. Jesus, the rabbi, inspired the greatest educational movement in the history of this great earth we live on today.
Absolutely. All by.
Yeah, I mean, because before, if you didn't have the right lineage, then you didn't get education.
Right.
No, and women, again,
women didn't get education.
They weren't allowed to even learn how to read.
But even as a child, you didn't get the right education unless you had the right lineage that backed you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to have the family name.
Yeah.
Like you said earlier, like Bible that we read, the most read book, most printed book, and in the history of the world, and
most translated in most languages.
Yes, and was it on that podcast or did I read it somewhere? Like Christians actually created alphabets for these tribes, like these bush tribes, so the Bible could be translated for them.
Right.
What?
To help them understand it.
Yeah, so they could read it. And if you look like, say like when England came over here to America, founded America, they came for religious freedom. They created an educational system so they could teach people to read, and they taught the Bible.
Yes. And that was initially one of their main motivations as they were escaping religious persecution in England. And then the
Bible itself was the book used to learn how to read.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
and the kids, and they would teach them stories of the Bible, and they would learn to read them and learn the characters and all the things.
And then the first thing that they built, was outside their shelters was a church.
Yep.
And what did the church do Monday through Friday?
Schoolhouse.
That was the schoolhouse.
You ever watch Little House on the Prairie?
That's right.
The church and the school were the same place.
That's right.
And that's the early way you're seeing
No doubt.
the foundation being set.
Yeah. Was it Gutenberg invented the printing press to print the Bible?
His motivation to print the Bible.
No reason it's even created.
Oh my god!
And then the thing that I think, as Christianity came to America, and we've talked about this a little bit before, but 123 of the first 123 colleges in America were Christian founded, like Harvard by a pastor, Yale, Princeton, Dartmouth. Those were all.
You would know it today.
Those were all Christian founded universities. Now today they spew hate against God and hate against His principles.
They have no idea their history.
No, and you can even go on their campus. You'll find some sculpt or some statues of various religious figures that no one even cares or looks at now. But from day one, when the United States first settlers first came here, it's education, and it's doing it via the religious or the Christians here. They founded it.
But Satan's best tools all begin with a tiny bit of truth.
100%.
And so that's
he can't create anything.
No. So what happens is he takes truth and perverts it. And when we say the word pervert doesn't mean have to be sexual. Pervert means to alter from original state.
Yes.
That's what it means to have something perverted. And so just like the colleges began with something good, with the word being spoken and taught from, and then it was perverted just a little bit. Just a little bit. And
incrementalism.
Yep.
And then once it gets off just that little bit, just like building a deck or standing my pool,
leveling the ground.
Leveling the ground, it can be off just a little bit. It's only off 2 inches.
Over here, it's a foot.
But over here, if it's a big enough area, it's already off a foot when it gets over there. And that's what we see in society over the years now. The things that God placed and that Christ brought in, they got perverted just a little bit.
Well, he roams the earth like a roaring lion. The spiritual warfare is
Seeking
always
whom he may devour. And
but like a roaring lion, he ain't one.
Yeah.
Like.
He's active, but again, here are these world-renowned institutions. They weren't founded by atheists.
They wouldn't be here without Jesus.
They wouldn't be here without Jesus' word.
Yep. Good.
Just like Facebook Rambos, they big and bad until they get right in front of you.
Keyboard warriors.
Yeah. They like a roaring lion, but once you stand nose to nose with you, what
They're
you
like
got?
a little bitty kitty cat.
Yeah.
Like a little bitty kitty cat. Point 6, Jesus and slavery. Christianity didn't support slavery. It destroyed it from the inside out. And, people say all the time there's slavery in the Bible, all this stuff. And there was, but a lot of it was people paying off debt.
Yeah.
Self-inflicted.
Self-inflicted. Most of the slavery that you see in the Bible was self-inflicted.
Yes. There was where I can't pay my bill, and in our agreement.
But even within that, there was the year of Jubilee.
Oh yeah.
So that, it was 50 years after, it was set free,
Yeah.
the year of Jubilee.
But again, that was common in that time, which was we made an agreement. You didn't make your payments. Therefore, you're going to come work for me for free.
They didn't have
Debt collectors,
$200,000 on your MasterCard, and you got to file bankruptcy.
You couldn't file bankruptcy.
No.
Yeah.
And 50% of the Roman population then was enslaved for debt.
Yeah.
Super common.
Yeah.
Taxes, all that stuff. Work it off.
And then, here comes Jesus talking about how to properly treat a slave, and it's like no one cared how you treated them before that. And he gave them guidance on how to handle their situation, again, earth shattering.
Yes. And Paul in 1 Timothy 1:10, and the evil slave is like slave trading and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and,
that's wrong.
And it was again, here we go again. The human is the flaw here, not the word. So in the South, very religious.
Yeah.
The South was a slave. The Confederates were believed in slaves. That's your human being corrupting what the Bible said. Because that same Bible was also used to destroy slavery, and the abolitionists who believed in destroying slavery used the Bible's very word to begin to tear it apart.
Yeah.
And to destroy it from the inside out.
Yes. First Timothy 1:10, Paul says the law is for people who are sexually immoral, who are practice homosexuality, or are slave traders, liars, promise breakers, and who do anything that contradicts the wholesome teaching. And it also, I didn't even know this, but it says or kidnappers.
Yeah, so see, the South, real religious, right?
Yeah.
Religious being the proper term, because they conveniently turned a blind eye to that part of the Bible, right?
Right.
Look at these people like these abolitionists like Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr.,
Frederick Douglass.
all those guys were Christians. She was a Christian.
Yeah.
She was basing their movement off of the Bible.
Frederick Douglass, I read his biography, and it was beautiful because the hypocrisy at the time was them holding up their Bibles and being good people, but yet having slaves.
Yeah.
And he would take that same Bible and go, y'all are full of crap.
Yeah.
You're conveniently forgetting this. We're all equal, really.
Well, and that's why people have such a problem nowadays with the organized church. They pull that part in, and there's so many people out there today that that want to put themselves up on a pedestal and say, "Look at me, I'm a Christian," but then on the backside they've got so many things going on that's not Christ-like.
And they're tearing somebody else down, and they're doing the same thing behind closed doors.
Right.
And so don't be like me and for 40 years struggle with the flawed human up on stage, and remember that God's word is perfect. It's the man at the stage up there who's
Man
flawed.
will fail you every time.
He's flawed just like you are.
Yeah.
So don't let that drive you from the church.
I love it. My pastor says it often. From the pulpit, he'll say, "Look, I'm going to let you down.
That's right.
Don't put your faith in me. I'm one of you."
But there's tons of me's out there sitting in there going, just looking at the preacher going, "Man, I don't like the way you roll."
Even say that from the pulpit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's-
You can tell.
Yeah, you can tell.
Well,
So-
that's the problem is the pulpit is used so much for correction or for an ulterior motive rather than what it was meant for, and that was equipping of the saints.
And the problem always comes back to humans, their desire for power, their desire to manipulate others, to enrich themselves. So when you
that
see that
manipulation.
Christian, when you see that Christian failing, remember, if I could tell young Mark Norman, that does not represent Jesus. That is
Not at
a
all.
failed human.
Yes.
The Bible, he got off the word.
Yes.
You know.
Or back on, slave and stuff like Jesus' teachings declared that everybody was equal. And if you look at like these atheist regiments like Hitler and Mayo and all these guys, like killed 130 million people versus like, has any Christianity-based regimen or done anything even close to that?
Well,
No.
it hasn't been perfect. Have there been during the Crusades where there's some unjust killings done by the Crusaders? Yes. But if you were to just stack up the numbers against the unbelievers versus the ones who did it under the guise of being a Christian,
Right.
the numbers pale in comparison.
Well, I mean, even David, he is labeled in the Bible as a man after God's own heart, but yet killed a man or had a man killed because of something he wanted himself. But the thing you got to see is for David was he was quick to repent and quick to stay in love with God. And that was the things that was after God's own heart was, him dancing down the street in his underwear because he didn't care what people thought about him. That's that childlike faith that we got to have in our lives.
Yes.
So, the self-correction.
That doesn't mean you go run up and down Main Street in your underwear, though.
No. But it just when you compare history, sure, it's not perfect. But again, the X factor here are the humans involved here.
Yes.
The problem isn't the Bible.
No.
It's the humans.
Flawed human.
And yes, but look what it has produced. It's amazing.
Point 7, Jesus in hospitals. Before Jesus, there was no medical care really for the poor. Or Christianity changed that. And
Jesus changed it. He was a healer.
he was a healer.
Yeah.
In 325 AD, the Council of Nicaea decreed every church should also have a hospital. So if you put up a church, you put up a hospital. Boom.
Again, isn't that beautiful?
Beautiful.
And again,
Yes.
they didn't have them. There weren't.
Look at all your hospitals. Almost every one of your hospitals they're Christian. They were born in Christian-based, Baptist hospital.
St. Jude.
St.
Mercy.
Mary's, St. Jude. I mean, they're all, in their beginnings, were built on the Word.
Yeah.
And you will walk through those, like when I go through Mercy Hospital in Fort Smith, because Gracie spent some time there. There's Christian quotes or Bible verses on the wall. There's crosses. And then there's a certain time where a bell rings and everybody stops what they're doing and they give thanks to the Lord.
Wow,
I mean,
that's pretty cool.
Again, I think growing up in a secular society where people you grow up and there's just, you go to Baptist hospital. If you step back from that for a second, go all across this country, most of them have a St. Vincent. They were founded by Christians.
First off, like Christians opened the first universal healthcare facilities.
Yeah. And they're still doing it in the modern age.
Look at the Red Cross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Founded by a Christian.
And a lot of those institutions have forgotten those roots, just like Harvard and everyone else. But
even me as a Christian that go through life and
you just
that's normal.
Just normal.
You know it, but you don't know it.
I mean, how many hospitals would they have in Little Rock if Christians had not founded those back when they started? Would we just have 2? But
AMS.
yeah,
Really.
it makes you wonder.
Well, it's just how we take things for granted. I mean, just as Christians, with a roof over our head, with the food that's on our tables, we take things for granted.
Yeah.
Having the growing up in the rural community that we all grew up in, we take that for granted. We
100%.
really feel like everybody grew up like we did, and the truth is, we live in one of the least populated, the least populated state in
Or one of the smaller
one of the
ones.
small in the United States. And so, but in our brains are that everybody grew up like we did, and the truth is they didn't.
Right.
Oh,
And thank God for those founders of those universities
Yeah.
and these hospitals that we all still use today.
amazing. And it all points back to
A
this
man.
man named Jesus that walked the earth, and 3 years of teaching
So
changed all of
think
this.
about that. When you go to Baptist Hospital 2,000 years ago, started 2000, what,
25.
25 years ago, a 3-year ministry is the reason you have hospitals
Yep.
to go to in Little Rock, Fort Smith, Fayetteville. It's fascinating, man.
2 more quick points. Jesus and economics. The Protestant work ethic created the wealthiest and most prosperous cultures in history. Max Weber coined the phrase, the Protestant work ethic, the idea that we work unto the Lord and not just for men.
Yeah.
And he tells you work or you ain't going to have no food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be lazy, son.
It says don't be lazy.
It does. Yep. Or you won't eat.
He said he that doesn't work doesn't eat.
Yes.
And he says you work 6 days a week and you get 1 day off.
Yep.
And here's Europe with 4-day work weeks.
I only work
And they
4
wonder-
days.
But you get 40 hours.
That's fair.
But then you wonder why their economies lag behind the United States. And we have 5-day work weeks, but the Bible says you work 6 days, you get 1 day off.
yes.
So work.
Work.
Again, you take that for granted, but you can go to the Middle East, you can talk to people in the military. Other countries do not work like we do.
Oh.
They are a lot of countries are inherently lazy. And as soon as they meet difficulty, they walk off the job. They're not, it's different here. The reason we have the greatest economy in the world and have for forever is because of our work ethic
Yes.
and our freedom.
And the Bible teaches that.
It teaches it.
Personal ownership. It teaches
Right.
stewardship. It teaches giving, charity.
Charity.
All that
Let's
stuff.
talk about charity. You can go through, look it up. Christians are the most charitable group in the world. We give more of our money away than anybody.
There was a guy that actually was doing some research from a university to see who was, and he didn't think it was Christians.
He was like an atheist, and he
Yeah.
did not expect to get this result.
Yes.
And he found we blew everyone
Away.
out of the water.
Absolutely.
And he actually also found that the poorer Christians were the
Most giving.
giving.
Right.
The more wealthier ones gave, but
The percentage that they
Yeah.
gave of their total income was greater than the more wealthy
on the
Christians.
poor side, which is incredible.
But again, during a 3-year ministry in the year 2025, Christians give more than anybody else. Because
Go back to the do not steal. That means like I can own property. You're not going to steal it. I can protect my property. All that stuff from all those years ago, we still abide by that to this day.
and property ownership back in Jesus' days was only the wealthy.
Yeah.
Only the wealthy had
Yeah.
it. And again, if I decide I want your property, I'm taking it.
Yeah. And in these countries like that aren't Christian countries, quote unquote, like the government owns all the property. The government
Yes.
owns everything.
That's
You don't own
socialism
nothing.
and communism.
Right.
They own everything. They own the church, the hospitals. They own the government owns your house. They own everything.
And it goes back to and equate our beautiful little garage studio to Jesus.
Yeah. It's just in 3 years.
3 years. Last point, Jesus and science. Christianity laid the foundation for modern science. I know you got some thoughts on this.
Well, hit your
Big
points
time.
on that.
Belief in a rational creator who established natural laws made science possible.
Which,
So like the natural law,
yes.
let's just say gravity, for instance. Like,
If you believe Buddha does everything, then if Buddha decides that gravity doesn't work, then it's not supposed to work, right? Because they're their God, whatever their deity is. So that's the difference, like in Christianity, of the natural law. It's part of the way our Lord and God created this earth with natural laws that keep this earth spinning, keeps the rain coming, keeps the sun coming out. That is natural law. Where if you believe in a deity, you know, that they can change their mind or whatever karma decides, you can't really believe in science because your deity can change that at any moment.
Yeah.
So
You talk about it all the time, you know, like how perfect, like these tornadoes and these natural disasters we have to happen
for balance.
For balance. If it was off, get too hot or too cold and all this stuff, and it works perfectly in order with these natural laws that God put in place.
When he created it, it's perfect. Like they said, if the Earth got off 2 inches on its orbit around the world or around the sun, we would have destruction of the Earth.
2 inches, dude.
2 inches, because as it travels, 2 inches turns into a million miles as it travels.
And I couldn't even put my pull up, and it's off more than 2
You
inches.
didn't follow natural law.
Yeah,
man.
that's right. I mean, you
Bob.
know, God create the earth to go around the sun.
So when you think about science, you think about science as an explanation of the natural laws that God put in place to rule this earth. And it's a beautiful thing, making the wind blow. What if gravity was too much and we we'd walk for a couple hours, get tired, and have to crawl because gravity was too much.
Too heavy on it.
Or the oxygen level. He screwed up on that, and now there's not enough oxygen. You could only work for an hour, and you'd have to lay down because there's not enough oxygen. No, but yet it's perfect. And that allows the scientists to working off these laws to create and invent like they do, because that's the thing about science. Science and math have laws.
Yes. Even early scientists, Newton, Kepler, Pascal, were all devout believers. And there's a show, I don't know if you've ever watched it, comes on PBS or something, it's called Nova, and it's about outer space and universe and all this stuff, and they all but say on there that there's a God. They don't say it,
Right.
but they all but say it, like that. Like we're talking about how everything is perfect, and like if you look at a broad picture of like the sun, and there are like these veins flowing from it, and everything works in. It's perfect.
It's mind blowing. There is no way an amoeba or a meteor hit another planet and it created this big bang. It's just fascinating. And you think about it, like for Jesus had to have 3 years for us to be sitting here today. The only way that is it's not humanly possible. The Holy Spirit literally guided his message. And here we are today, 2,000 years later. Think about how easily the Bible could have rocketed up like a viral video or a viral meme, and then it just crashed. But it has staying power. Think about it. It's gone from the beginning, using donkeys to spacecraft. We have AI today, and yet the Bible still applies. It's just if that doesn't tell you, if you're a doubter, if you just think about what Jesus did in 3 years, that really ought to kind of punch you in the face a little bit, to maybe double check this.
So then the question is for us is what can we do in 3 years? Because we are made in the likeness of Christ. We are made in God's image.
He said you will do these works and even greater.
Even greater works. So what I'm saying is when we think that we can't change anything in our own lives or we can't make a difference in the world that we live in, I guarantee you, if you make a change in 3 years, there's some lives that have been changed or things that have been changed in your own life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can definitely make an impact.
Yeah.
Is it going to be Jesus level impact, or there's only one man who ever did that?
Yeah.
But that's not, we're called, we can change where we're at.
You change you can
But
change
that's just like
your world
the
around you.
story of the little boy on the beach with all the starfish that have been up on the beach, and he's standing on the beach and he's throwing the starfish. He's picking them up and he's just throwing them back in the water. Pick it up and he throw it back in the water. And the old man comes along and says, "What are you doing? There's no way you'll be able to save all of these." He said, "But I can save this one."
There you go.
You know,
And that's the commission.
If one
Yeah.
man all over the world said, "I'm going to change my world around me, closest to me, and the world I can influence, in my job, in my home, in the places I visit every day," one man did that, would change the world.
Yeah. And the evidence is right in front of your face, man.
Something I learned that that I've taken away from this. I've learned a lot through this, and is to not take all this for granted.
Right.
And we should use our freedom to glorify God, like what we're talking about. And
Well, how about the Republic of Congo this week? Again, the Muslim terrorists came in, and I think they killed 46 Christians. As you know, Christianity's Africa is going to be one of the largest growth places for Christianity, and the Muslims, the radical Muslims, are fighting it and murdering, and they were just simply worshiping and got murdered for it. In the year 2025, that still happens.
insane, dude. So, what are you going to do with the freedom, opportunity, and truth that Jesus made possible? I think we can all glean on that.
right.
Going to change the world around you, change the influence that you have impact on each and every day, your home, your job, your church, your community, where you walk and talk to people. And if this episode opened your eyes, share it with a friend, a brother. Even if it didn't open your eyes, still share it with a brother. It'll help us out.
Help a brother out.
Help a brother out. Help the podcast out. Love y'all. Thanks for listening. Bobby, want to pray us out?
Sure. Father God, we just thank you for this time that we could take ourselves and just recenter on seeing how awesome you are, Father. We just thank you that that as we go out from here, that we see that we can make a difference, that we do make a difference, and that we are worth something, not only in your eyes, but to the people that are around us. We thank you that we get to go out and be a light to the world, and we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.